Get the duck boats ready. After 39 long years, the Cup is back home. The Bruins are 2011 Stanley Cup champions.
Back to full. Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions. Anything's possible!
This argument, Bob, now it's over. I hope you like your question being answered, Bob.
I will be outnumbered. But when this gets to the net,
what is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? My name is Brady McGrath, and I am here with my co-hosts Kim Garrity and Brendan Benevento. Cam, how you feeling today?
Lard ass. That's how I'm feeling.
Hell yeah, Brendan, how you doing today?
I'm good. I'm sore because I've been so bored that the only thing I've been able to do is actually work out for once. So there's that.
Damn.
That's how I'm bored. That's
probably couldn't say the same thing.
Yeah, I'm just sitting in quarantine, bettering myself.
Yeah,
you heard it, right, dude? It's pretty cool. I'm like everybody else here. Like I'm working out. Fuck
dude,
not like I can do fucking anything else.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing right now is we've been trying to get this podcast up and running for about an hour and a half today.
This is for
because of the reason my computer's a dinosaur. My computer's a dinosaur. So when I try to record, right, it takes not the computer recording itself, but the part of rendering is the worst part for me because it takes like 6 hours for me to edit the video together and then render it, post it, and everything. And we want to make sure that it's as instant as possible. So we're trying to do a lot of workarounds that would allow us in Streamlabs to basically edit it the way it is, basically almost like a live production, but we're recording it. So it's a little bit hard for us to do that. But, I mean, we're going to have issues anyway. It's our first episode, really, all three of us together. It's our first episode of doing it this way, thanks to Anchor allowing you to just straight up upload your video. Like this file can be uploaded straight into Anchor. It's just going to rip the audio from it and post that for us as a podcast. So we don't even have to worry about now putting in the intro. We don't have to worry about putting in any of the questions that we're going to be answering later on in this show, or any of that. So that's just all going to be taken care of in one audio file. All I got to do is literally add the Anchor ad before the actual thing plays, and we're good. So it's exciting. And speaking of that, we're actually, just letting you guys know, if you are listening on podcast or Google Podcasts or anything like that, we are on YouTube. You can search 40 Yard Dads Podcast. You can search Garrity Live, whatever you want to search. You can search that into YouTube and find us. Same thing for social media. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Find us everywhere. Make sure you are following the podcast on any mediums just to make sure that you guys can get updated when the next episode is going to go out, and also to be featured and on some of these videos with some of your questions. So I think that's pretty much it. We're going to get right into our first question of the day. This one is from Bob from Salem. Let's get after it.
We love you, Bob.
Hey boys, hope you all are well. Love you guys, miss you guys. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on Dalton Keene, the tight end from VT. He didn't drop a pass in his entire college career, supposedly, and he did not commit a single penalty, which is, we all know, right up Bill Belichick's alley. But also this wave of quarterbacks coming in that Bill's taking. Do you think Stidham has what it takes? I think all these guys coming in, I think it's going to only make Stidham play to the best of his ability, or he'll get cut. I also wanted to ask you guys what you think about Bill Belichick and a mobile quarterback. Maybe that's what comes out of all of this. I would think that would be pretty cool.
Great question, Bob. Thank you for that question. Brendan, do you want to kind of take us off with a little bit of Dalton Keene and just kind of what you've been thinking about, kind of just answering Bobby's question there?
Yeah, man, absolutely. First of all, Dalton Keene, I think, was a great pickup. I'm going to say right out the gate, Bob, what you said is absolutely true. The thing that Bill Belichick hates more than anything in the entire world is penalties.
Yep.
Despises penalties. And with Dalton Keene not drawing a single penalty his entire college career, that is huge for Bill Belichick. Also, if he's never dropped a pass, that's insane.
Not to
Like,
mention,
that
he's
is-
a pretty decent blocking tight end. So, like, he had
Yeah,
abilities to get
that is
holding
obviously
calls.
though that is some serious skill. One, to not get any holding calls, to not draw a single penalty his entire college career, and to not drop a single pass. That's a tight end right up Belichick's alley.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and to answer your kind of question, Bob, too, with Dalton Keene in there, I like that they picked up Devin Asiasi too, because Bill Belichick is like, look, he loved both of those tight ends. Both of them were high draft picks. He traded up for both. Both of them he wants to have a 2 tight end setup. It's very clear. We signed a bunch of tight ends that are undrafted. We still have Lacoste and Izzo here, which are going to battle. And as many people want to hate on Lacoste and Izzo, at the same time, you have to remember this is something I've always said. Tom Brady, if he didn't trust you and you didn't get it right away, you're not getting the ball. So it's going to be an exciting year to see those tight ends, see if they can take a step forward. Same thing with N'Keal Harry.
100%.
We don't know if they're busts yet. We just know that Tom Brady didn't trust them and want to throw to them. And that doesn't mean that Tom Brady thinks they're not good receivers. It's just he's only throwing to who he knows is going to catch that ball because he doesn't like turning the ball over himself.
Exactly. And one of the big things that I see with Dalton Keene's game is for the position that he played, he was that tight end.
Yeah.
But what he did a lot of the times, he was in the backfield a lot.
Yep.
He was blocking out of
Like
the
a
backfield.
fullback.
He was running routes out of the backfield.
Mhm.
I mean, throughout his college career, he had less than 60 receptions in his 3 seasons.
Yep.
So
But never dropped one.
exactly, he never dropped one. That's that's amazing. You know what I mean? And they used him as kind of like a utility guy. So it shows his speed, that shows his ability to be a blocking tight end, along with being a blocker in the backfield.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the potential for a new fullback kind of. You know what I mean?
James Devlin retired, so
that's what I'm saying. It's like that's what his job was, basically.
yeah. If they want to have Asiasi and Lacoste and have that, Dalton Keene kind of blocking, fullback that can also come out and catch passes, that's another like weapon in that offense that, look, defenses are going to have to plan for. If the Patriots can essentially throw out 3 tight ends on the field and make you guess if they're going to run, pass, whatever, because they're going to have 2 tight ends on both sides and their third one is in the backfield. They're like, are they going to throw it? Are they going to those are weapons that the Patriots love. And I think the Patriots love having Swiss Army knives everywhere across the board, right?
Also,
they want you to be able to play special teams. They want you to be able to block. They want you to be able to catch, run, whatever.
You have to understand, too, over the past 20 years, we've seen so many just superstar football players come out of Belichick's camp. And I'm not saying Dalton Keene's going to be, the next Rob Gronkowski, but I'm saying don't count something like that out either. Or George Kittle, yeah.
Yeah, he has like a build of like a George Kittle.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
That's his comparisons of what he was getting in the draft.
And I'm not saying that he's going to be like that, but I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised for a
Right. It
player
could be.
getting brought out from Belichick. Belichick sees that talent in people and he brings them out.
Belichick just doesn't draft people for no reason. Like, that's like the thing that really gets to me. When you hear a lot of people that say they're football fans but don't understand football, like with the Kyle Duggar pick, I always think about that. With the Kyle Duggar pick, Belichick and the Patriots have been scouting him for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like, they've been looking into him.
And your point with Belichick doesn't draft people for no reason. He's not like these teams where rightfully so, some of them get good players, right? And I think that's what people think is they're like, everybody always makes a comparison is like, we could have got this player at this thing because he was more hyped up. But the thing of what the Patriots do when they draft somebody is not, like you said, not for no reason, but at the same time, Bill Belichick is not one of these teams that just drafts the best player available and it's like, I don't really care what position they play, I don't care about the scheme, like, we'll mold them, right? Belichick drafts somebody that's like, fits, that he can mold, is coachable, right? Likes like where he played, likes the coaches he played for. Like, it's a whole he's basically like finding a guy that's gonna be on the team for multiple years. And if he's not, that's why he always trades out of the first round. For a lot of people are confused with that.
Also, he drafts people not just because they're athletic freaks. He drafts some people that aren't very talented, but guess what? They're super talented in the one key position he needs them to do.
Exactly.
He drafts
for need.
He drafts components of an entire machine. You fit here. You are this cog here. You do this job. You do that perfectly, and you don't do anything else. That's how Belichick drafts. They might be the shittiest tight end in the world, but they're incredible at blocking. And that's why he'll draft them. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it works.
And another thing, too, with how he does the drafts at the same time is he'll look at a player, right? And everybody always says, oh, he moves back because he can get that player in round 2 that he could have gotten in round 1, right? I get that, right? The reason he drafts backwards is because of control and the egos in the locker room as well. So if he has a first-round pick, 9 times out of 10 for 5 years, he's going to have to put up with that kid. If that kid has an ego and is like develops into a good player, right? Kind of similar to Chandler Jones, right? We could have kept on to him a little bit, but he wanted that money. He knew he was the guy. Belichick doesn't want to lose his locker room. So he loves those 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round picks that really are humbled by their draft slot, right? Especially those 4th and 5th round picks he loves because they're still solid enough that they could have went in the 2nd or 3rd round, but they're also dropping really low that their ego is going to be tainted because of that. And they're not going to be coming in like, look at me, I'm first round pick. Like, look at me, like I deserve the world, all the money, like some of these players are. And Bill Belichick loves those kinds of players. And the only times he's drafted first-round picks have been players that he knows do not have an ego like that, like a Sony Michel, a Devin McCourty, right? A Nate Solder, right? Guys like that he knows that are like not going to have that ego there. And the one mistake he's had was the Chandler Jones. Hightower hasn't proved to have an ego of anything like that. So the only mistake was Chandler Jones, and you're going to get that when you're drafting a defensive end as talented as he was.
Mm-hmm. And now I think we should move over to the second half of Bobby's question about Stidham and how that fit is going to happen.
Or just in general, who their quarterback is.
Exactly. Honestly, yeah. I mean, I personally think that they're going to have 3 quarterbacks in the roster.
Yeah, I think they signed
Stidham. I think it's going to be Stidham. It's going to be Brian Hoyer, and it's going to be Jamar Smith, the undrafted free agent.
Yeah, that's who it was,
from Louisiana Tech.
Yep.
Mostly for the fact that their schedule, you look at the teams that they have to play against, you look at teams like Arizona, you look at teams like Houston, you look at teams like Baltimore, all running quarterbacks. Jamar Smith can provide that look team.
Yeah,
Jamar Smith is also a talented quarterback.
Yeah.
He has a cannon. He has a Jacoby Brissett written all over him.
Yep.
And what I mean by a Jacoby Brissett is that's someone that fit that Patriots system so well when he had to go out there and play.
Yeah. He was the running quarterback that fit the Patriots system. And I think, when you're looking at Jamar Smith, like you're looking at – that's how Belichick's also looking at it, to Brennan's point with the cog, is that he's that running guy that they're going to need for scout offenses, and they're just going to need in general because – when they get to the playoffs, they start playing guys like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, right? Even Jimmy G a little bit. They're going to need somebody that can move around. They never really had that with like a Brian Hoyer and a Stidham as their backups when Tom Brady was there. It's very hard for that new look defense now that needs to practice with what a mobile quarterback looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And
for
that's
that,
with that, yeah.
For that reason, I think he'll be great on the practice squad. But in my opinion, I think I still completely think Stidham's the guy this year. And my main reason for this is throughout the entire draft, we did not draft a single quarterback. I think by not drafting a single quarterback is Belichick's way of saying, I think Stidham is better than every single quarterback in this draft.
Yeah. I think that's what I was saying too, is I don't know if that's more of Stidham's the guy as much as it's, I don't think any of these quarterbacks are better than what we have. I think it was
definitely think he wanted Hurts.
I think Jalen Hurts, I think the 3 that he could have wanted was Burrow, Herbert, and Hurts. And he was not going to get Burrow and Herbert because they were way too high up. And Jalen Hurts was there, and it got picked way too soon for him. And I think that was Belichick's way of being like, all right, everybody else in the draft is not as good as what we have here. We're just going to – why waste a pick on a player that's going to be the same, if not worse, than what we already have? So we're not going to draft a quarterback. We're going to go for some undrafted kids that can play as the 3rd string. He's like, I'm not using a draft pick on a 3rd string. Like, that's basically what he was thinking. It's like, I'm not going to waste the third round pick on a guy that's never going to fit here.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think I'm super excited to watch Stidham play. I mean, he was great in college. We haven't really seen him play much in the NFL yet. I'm excited to see how he develops. I'm excited to see how he works with Josh McDaniels. I'm excited to see how he just matures into like
there weren't enough
NFL
people,
quarterback.
There weren't enough people that clearly watch college football.
Yeah.
To see Jarrett Stidham in the way that he actually played for that Auburn offense. Like
he was incredible.
He was incredible. He literally He beat Bama in that Iron Bowl. He himself beat
Damn right he
Bama
did.
in that Iron Bowl. Like that's what
he
did.
slipped. People forget the reason he slipped so far was not because he's bad, but because it was a need thing. Not a lot of teams had a need for a quarterback after like the other one. After people got picked, Stidham dropped just like how Jake Fromm did and Jacob Eason. Just not because they're bad, just because teams were like, I don't need another quarterback. I already drafted one in the top 5. I don't need to draft one in the 2nd or 3rd round. And the teams that didn't need a quarterback were like, we're not taking our replacement in the 2nd or 3rd round. We're going to get some, like the Patriots did. We're going to get some defensive players. We're going to get some linemen, and we'll pick him in the 4th or 5th round when he's there.
Also, Stidham, another key thing with Stidham that we have to see is also the fact that we picked up Will Hastings too. Because Will Hastings, when they played for Auburn, Will Hastings was Stidham's number 1 weapon.
He was his Edelman.
Beautifully, he was his Edelman, exactly. And now that Edelman is getting older, Edelman's going to be retiring soon. Guess what? Belichick picks up another white guy coming
here.
Is.
Here he is.
Boom, Will Hastings.
Yeah. That was, dude. That's I mean, like right now, I'm like, I like how their offense sounds. Like their offense, like listen to this. This is tweeted by. I'm going to give them the. At Savage Boston.
Yeah.
Savage Boston Sports.
Yep.
So currently right now you look at the Patriots offense is Jarrett Stidham, Edelman, N'Keal Harry, Mohamed Sanu, Sony Michel, James White, Ossie and Dalton Keene. And then you have the offensive line, which is Isaiah Wynn, Joe Tooney, David Andrews, Shaq Mason, and Marcus Cannon. That's a great offensive line.
Yeah.
It's a great offense.
That's a great team.
But you know what people are also
team.
forgetting too, right? James White's getting older, but people forget we got Damian Harris too last year that didn't play at all. People also forget the fact that Mohamed Sanu in his first year was not good. We get that. But you also remember my point from earlier is if Brady didn't trust you, if you didn't know the offense, you were going to have a tough time producing. And I think you have to give Mohamed Sanu, I'm not saying it's Brady's fault Sanu played that bad, but I think you need to give Sanu another year to develop. Not develop, but another year to develop with the Patriots.
But also not catching. See, this is my biggest thing. Catching a pass from Tom Brady from word of other players is the hardest thing they've ever done.
Yeah.
Like Wes Welker straight up said that Tom Brady's his favorite quarterback that he's ever played with, but Peyton Manning throws the best ball for him. Because Tom Brady literally makes it hard. Like he made it hard. He threw the ball where the other person wouldn't be able to stop you. That's why Wes Welker was so successful. He's lower to the ground.
Yeah.
You throw it in the dirt, Welker would catch it. Like, but Brady throws absolute bullets at you. Like that's not something you could fully adjust to. Matt Ryan didn't do that for Sanu.
Yeah, Andy Dalton didn't do that.
And then you get traded. You get traded into a system that's as difficult as the Patriots. It's not for
just to learn. It's
not
for
right away. Exactly. It's not for right away success. That's why when if the Patriots don't make a big trade at the deadline and people get super angry about it, you really can't. Because that new guy is going to come in. Let's say, fuck it, we trade all of our assets and get Julio.
Yeah.
Julio's a generational talent. Do we know that Julio is going to get the playbook?
Nope.
Like,
we don't know.
You know what I mean?
I mean, they might. I mean, because he's a generational talent, they might be like, "Hey, run your best 3 routes that you can run, and we'll get you the ball." But that's not how Tom Brady likes his offense.
Exactly. That's not. We're not Jacksonville. We're not the Jets.
He did that with Antonio Brown, and it worked. Yeah. But that was the only player that it worked for because it was like that same situation, but like that.
Yeah, and he only played
Brown,
one game,
right? It was like Brady just wanted that deep threat. And Brady was willing to throw everything out the window for Antonio Brown. Like he was ready to risk it all for Antonio Brown with his offense. And I think that's what kind of happened. And this is not a Brady knock or anything like that. And I don't even know if Stidham is the guy. I'm not saying he's bad, but I'm excited for the first time of ever being a Patriots fan because look, Brady's been here for 20 years. I'm 22 years old, so all I've known is successful Patriots teams. Right?
Yeah, we're gonna have to battle.
I am excited. I'm not one of those fans that are like, it's over, I'm not being a fan anymore. I'm excited for the rebuild. I'm excited to be a fan. Like, I'm obviously going to be a fan no matter what. I'm excited to see how this team goes and how it rebuilds, especially with Bill Belichick. Now, if Bill Belichick wasn't here and Brady wasn't here, it'd be a little bit harder of a pill to swallow.
I'd be scared.
But you have Bill Belichick. And to my point that I wanted to make for the longest time, and I'm sorry if you guys feel differently about this, but the Patriots. I have been seeing so many tweets and articles that the Patriots, a Bill Belichick-led Patriots, are going to tank for Trevor Lawrence.
I hate
Tanking
that.
is not in the word of Bill Belichick
That's
anywhere.
It's not in his vocabulary.
He's going to go 11-5. He will go 11-5 and make the playoffs with this.
If Bill Belichick
roster.
wins 11 games this year, he's the coach of the year.
100%.
Just for the fact that people just underestimate this team so much for no reason.
They lost, yes, they lost the greatest quarterback of all time. They lost the guy that was their franchise player. And they lost Gronkowski, everybody's saying, but he wasn't on the roster anyway. We didn't have him no matter what.
You have to think, we got a 4th-round pick
and used it on
that we used to trade up with
to get
somebody else, to get another tight end that they see where the potential is. Like, we traded a retired player for a 4th-round pick. People getting mad about the Gronkowski trade.
He had all Gronk had all the leverage. The Patriots had nothing they can do. They basically had to pay whatever the Buccaneers were willing to pay. Like that's what they're like, hey, what can you give us for Gronk? And the Buccaneers were probably like, you know what? We feel bad. Let's give you a 4th. They were like, we don't care. Right? And that's the thing that gets me is the tanking for Trevor Lawrence. I get he's good, but that is not in Bill Belichick's vocabulary. He is not good.
No.
A, he's chasing Shula, right? So he's not going to throw wins out of the table. B, his legacy alone, he's not going to let people be like, oh, that all along Belichick only won because of Brady. Are you kidding me? The second Brady leaves, he has a losing season and is the worst team in the league? No. That's not happening. He's going to go 11-5.
Didn't we win 10 games with Matt Castle, right?
11-5.
Damn right we did.
11-5.
We won 11-5. We won 11-5 with Matt Castle.
Do you know what Bill Belichick's record is?
And then he got a big contract and sucked.
Do you know what Bill Belichick's regular season record is? And correct me if I'm wrong because it might have changed. What his regular season record is with quarterbacks that are not named Tom Brady on this Patriots team in the last 20 years? He's 14-5. 11-5 with Matt Castle, 4-0 with Jimmy G.
Yep.
So
that's solid.
I mean,
statistics.
like it's
How
it's not speaking about Brady. It's not speaking about anything like that. It's speaking the fact
Pats
that
are dead, bro.
this coached team with this discipline and the players that are still on this roster, right? We lost some players, yeah, but that happens every year. We every 4 years we lose a big core of players and we replace them in the draft. And then the guys we drafted
lost Chandler Jones. Our pass rush is over.
Yeah, next year Jamie Collins. Oh, okay. Now Jamie Collins is gone. We still have one.
Oh, we lost Jamie Collins. It's over.
We lost Ninkovich. It's over. Okay, we still have.
We lost Patrick Chung.
Yeah.
Oh wait, he came back.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just all of these things that people don't get, and it's like we still have Gilmore, we still have McCourty, so we still have a pretty good secondary.
We have both McCourties.
Joanne Williams.
We still have
is not
J.C.
bad.
Jackson. Joanne Williams.
If he plays this year, he's a good player. Like Joanne Williams is a good pick.
He barely played last year, and the big thing was him saying that he is now perfecting this playbook.
Yeah.
Like that is something that you want to hear from that's why Bill Belichick didn't draft Grady Williams.
Yep.
He drafted Joanne because he said he's a hard worker. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, oh, Greedy Williams was there. It's like, okay, well, this guy who was definitely on an arguably worse team just because he was on Vanderbilt played a whole lot better than the guy that was a stud on LSU.
Which he was.
What I mean?
The thing for me, right, is with this team is I get we lose these players, right? But it's not like we lost Brady, Gronk, Edelman, 3 offensive linemen, lost defensive players, Gilmore's gone. Like I'd be like, okay, yeah, we lost an injured Gostowski, we lost a retired Gronkowski, we lost Tom Brady who was out the door the last 2 years anyway. We all kind of knew it.
Right.
We were hoping he was gonna come back. And we lost what? An aging Jamie Collins that was never worth Von Miller money. He's a good player
who didn't really make the impact that he thought we were going to make when he came back.
He was a good player. He was a Pro Bowler, but he didn't produce in
But
Cleveland.
He didn't produce that massive number that everybody was like, oh, Jamie Collins is
He's
back.
He's going to be like, or no, but people thought like Jamie Collins was going to be a Hall of Famer, and he had all these things, and he's not a bad player at all by any means, but he's out the door. Kyle Van Noy out the door. That was a great piece for us, right? Like we lost these guys. And Patrick Chung's on his way out. Who do we replace? Kyle Duggar.
Right.
Kyle Duggar. There
Perfect.
it is. Like, and then like on special teams, we still have Matt Slater.
Deron Harmon's gone, but still, and Matt Slater is there. We have a new kicker. We have our punter still here. Like it's not like we lost like a punter, a kicker, a quarterback, a tight end. Like we have these guys. Like
everybody was so mad when we got rid of Ryan Allen, and then You know,
remember the Zoltan Nesko we got rid of? Like,
yeah, everybody was mad that we got rid of.
And then the next year, we got Ryan Allen. And like, oh, okay. Like,
and now we have the new Allen, whatever the fuck his first name is. Like,
wait, Josh Allen, is it?
No, Josh Allen. No, I don't know.
There's like 4 Josh Allens. I don't even know who the.
Yeah, but their other kicker, they got rid of Ryan Allen. Everybody's like, oh no, Ryan Allen's gone. It's like you had the same exact thought.
And we lost James Devlin, which I'm honestly, I think that's gonna hurt the offense a lot more than people think if they don't have a good fullback, because the fullback is a dying breed, and the fact that you had one of the hardest working, best fullbacks in the NFL. That was it's a very underrated and underappreciated position, but the fact that he was there punching the ball in for when we had LeGarrette Blount, punching the ball in when we had Sony Michel, like he's that guy that helped the Patriots win a lot of Super Bowls, and you don't realize that even the James White play to win the Super Bowl in the overtime, James Devlin was a key part of making that happen with his blocks. So like he's a very important player, and I don't know if we'll ever see another fullback like that come in the Patriots. Maybe it's a dying breed anyway, but still, it's just something that I
feel like we're going to see a lot of other position players taking over that fullback
blocking duty, yeah.
Because think about it this way. We picked up Danny Vitale.
Right.
And he has played fullback before. He's a tight end.
Yeah,
but he line up as a fullback set because of that.
That might be his roster spot on the roster.
Literally, straight up.
Belichick's notorious for switching people's positions. I mean, look at Edelman was a freaking quarterback at Kent State.
Literally called him. Belichick literally called Edelman and was like, "We're gonna draft you as a wide receiver." Like he didn't put himself into quarterback. He put it like into wide receiver. He was going into the draft as a quarterback from Kent State.
Yep.
And the Patriots called him, or were literally like, "We're gonna draft you as a wideout." Like,
and then
like you're gonna go. You're not gonna be.
They picked him up as a position player. They didn't pick him up to. They picked him up to play football. Like it's one of those things where it's like.
Yeah, it's like high school and college. It's like, hey, you want to come play football for us? Like, we'll figure out your position. That's
for real.
What it is.
That's exactly what it is.
They're a football team.
People need to figure that out. That we're the New England Patriots and.
That's how we do it. And as long as Bill Belichick is the coach, that's how it will be. And until McDaniels or whoever takes over.
Even without Belichick, even if we have McDaniels,
McDaniels is probably going to do the same thing. Honestly, I would say McDaniels is going to be like, why change it?
McDaniels had that head coaching position, and then he turned it down and then came back to the Patriots. Why? Because Belichick took the keys of the castle and went like this in front of his face.
Yeah.
That's why.
And 100%, I think McDaniels knows and Belichick knows, and they've talked about it, that like there's a few years left for Belichick. I think Belichick wants to leave once he gets his record from Shula. If he gets another ring without Brady, I think those are the two things he wants to do. He wants to get a ring without Brady, and he wants to pass Shula and just be the winningest head coach of all time, no matter what. I think that's what he wants to do.
After Belichick, we have McDaniels, and then after McDaniels, guess what? Belichick's son.
After Belichick leaves, the Patriots are going to be bad, though, right?
No.
Well, that's just the thing. That's what everybody's going to keep saying.
We'll see. It depends on where the roster is. That's like, you don't know if he leaves. Because he could leave in 2 years, and I'll say no. He could leave in 10 years from now. He could die on the job. And then it's like, okay, we don't know what the roster is going to be when he's gone. But you have to think about it. This is the breed that everybody's annoyed with, right? Robert Kraft's son is going to take over, Jonathan Kraft, right? Bill Belichick's son is going to eventually take, like, it's just going to be the Kraft Belichick, and eventually Brady's kids might be pretty nasty at football, and there's your next quarterback, Tom Brady's kid, Bill Belichick's son is the coach, and Robert Kraft's son is the owner, and it's another 20 years of excellence.
If Brady doesn't suck their youth out any further.
Yeah. I don't think they've passed the age of 6. Like, every time I look at them, I'm like, how long has he had these kids? Like, is they just rotating them out? Or is
Benny's 11 now? Are you sure?
He looks like he's 4.
Like,
oh my god! But I would say the Patriots quarterback situation, kind of like bringing it back to that, is I think what's going to happen this year. Stidham is going to be the starter, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to be something where it's, unless Cam Newton comes here for dirt cheap, Stidham's going to be the starter, and. Andy Dalton already signed with another team, so that was like the number 2 option that everybody wanted. Jameis Winston already signed with another team.
Amazing signing, by the way.
Who did he sign with?
He signed with the Saints.
Cowboys?
Signed with the Cowboys.
Jameis
Winston went to the Saints.
And Andy Dalton went
to the Cowboys, which was honestly an absolute steal right now for them.
I mean, you put Andy Dalton behind a good.
Where's Dak going?
I don't know if he wants too much money and doesn't sit out. Andy Dalton behind a good offense with that running back and that wide receivers is not a bad team. Andy Dalton's not terrible.
I think they're planning on Dak sitting especially because the way that you look at the contract too. Andy Dalton got a 1-year deal for $7 million.
Yep.
They didn't just go like, hey Andy, look, like come here. We're gonna give you like a $2 million deal like Jameis got.
Yeah.
We're gonna do like they said, look, this is the possibility of what's gonna happen. You're gonna get a $7 million deal with $3 million guaranteed.
Yep.
And
you're gonna come in and you're gonna play with this top-notch offense once Dak decides he wants to sit.
And
that's a possibility.
That $4 million is all incentives. They said to him, they're like, you can't get incentives if you're on the bench. So they gave him an incentive contract because they're thinking of it. So
because they think Dak's going to sit, and I personally think he might too, because he's great friends with Zeke. Zeke did it. Zeke got paid.
Yeah.
But now it's like, what are the Cowboys going to sacrifice in order to pay Dak Prescott?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you can't. They're going to have a shitty offensive line. They're not going to be able to pay their linemen. Their linemen are going to be getting top dollar.
Travis Frederick just retired. Probably the best center in the league. He retired at a young age. He was like 28. Fucking crazy. Oh yeah. Well, last year Travis Frederick was called the best center in the league.
Yeah.
But Travis Frederick retired.
Saturday.
And then you have a great offensive line behind you.
Yep.
But that line's not going to be able to get paid for if you're going to pay Dak.
And now they have these wideouts too. Like, what if T. Higgins pops off in a few years? Like, they're not going to be able to retain him if they have Zeke and Dak under contract. They're going to lose all of these guys. Like, that's the thing with a lot of teams. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I was thinking of – I don't know why the Bengals popped into my head. I really don't know why. I was thinking of it. Regardless, I'm thinking – because I was thinking of Andy Dalton.
Because we're talking about Dalton.
Yeah. But anyway, CeeDee Lamb, they're not going to be able to pay him, right? They're not going to be able to pay their offensive line. They're going to make cuts on defense. Like, it just doesn't work that way. And teams need to understand that, like, as much as good players deserve to get paid, the reason the Patriots won so many championships was the buy-in aspect of Tom Brady and the guys like that. The aspect of guys like Devin McCourty could have got top dollar on the market. Is he going to go to the market? No, right? Bill Belichick says to these guys, you want to make money, that's fine. You can leave, go get your money, but you're not going to win. And like that is, and it's proven. He won 6 championships here. Now our team's gonna buy. I don't think players are gonna buy into that anymore because now you don't have Tom Brady. So I don't know if teams are gonna be like, yeah, I'll sign with the Patriots for cheap, or I'm gonna stay
this year until this year ends, and then everybody wants them.
Jared Stidham,
like everybody wants to come back because they're like, oh, wait a second, now we can
Stidham
get money because Tom Brady's not there.
Jared Stidham is gonna be the Patriots quarterback for the next 5 years, and the reason I say that is he's not gonna be an elite quarterback. He's gonna be like that Andy Dalton, right down the middle of the pack, can bring you to the playoffs, and Bill Belichick's gonna take care of the rest. And I think that's literally what that guy. He's gonna be the Tannehill of this year, the Vrabel and the Derrick Henry. Like, they just needed a guy to be there, right? They just needed that guy to be there. And I think that's what Jared Stidham's going to be. And I hope he proves me wrong and does a lot better. I don't think he's going to be ass. I really don't.
No, he's not going to be ass.
No, I think he's going to be great.
Yeah.
Like people okay, so people really need to think more and more about this. If you look at Stidham, right?
Yep.
Like, look at what Stidham has on his team. He has Edelman, he'll work
who needs
for
to
you.
prove that he needs to prove to everybody that he's a good quarterback and it wasn't
Exactly.
Brady. We talked about this last week too.
You have N'Keal Harry, who's young. He for some reason everybody decided to call him a bust because he got hurt. Unproven.
Yeah.
Exactly. Unproven. Still an absolute monster of a man. Jacoby Myers is going to come out and make moves. Like, hear me when I say it. Jacoby Myers will be the second or third best wide receiver on this team.
What you got?
Hear me say it.
You got Stidham's will.
Like, I said it today at Sunday, May 3rd at 2:39 that Jacoby Myers will be probably the second best wide receiver on that team.
Yeah.
I'm
not ruling anything out. I would also say you got to look at the signing that the Patriots made. They got Stidham's boy too. That might be
exactly
that might be the Edelman Amendola kind of, back to back, 2 slot guys for the Patriots offense. They might have that again. They might have their double tight ends again. It might be getting back to just because it's not the names we're used to. It
doesn't mean it's going to be
that's
like
what people
a
do. That's
dumpster.
where the fake Patriot fans come in. They're names that we don't recognize. There's no Gronk, there's no Amendola, there's no Hogan, Edelman. They're like, so we suck. But it's like, what if these guys that we drafted are those guys or better? You don't know that, and you will not know that until they play a game.
Until it happens.
Sit tight.
That's what I'm saying.
Relax.
That's what
Ben's saying. You got to give them that shot. You're right, Brady. You got to give them that shot.
All right, and with this, we're going to take a quick ad break. So Brendan's going to read off some ads from one of our sponsors here. So if you're on the YouTube page, thanks for looking by. And Brendan, go ahead, read us our advertisement from our sponsor.
Are you angry, sad, frustrated? Have you tried yelling? Relieves stress, feels great, and it scares birds. Yelling's like talking, but a lot louder. Try it today for free.
Awesome. Thank you for our sponsor. I'll have to try that at some point when we're watching the fake Patriots fans start crawling back when the Buccaneers are 8-8 and the Patriots are 11-5.
Yeah, for real. When the Buccaneers don't make the playoffs because they're getting beat around
because
by the
Tom
Panthers.
Brady gets sacked 7 times a game. Do you see that defensive line in that conference on all of those teams? Brady's going to get mauled. That's what teams said. They go, you're going to get Brady and Gronk. You have one of the worst offensive lines. We're just going to get better on the front 7. Have fun trying to throw the ball.
Speaking of that offensive line, did you see how Tristan Wirfs reacted to being drafted by the Buccaneers? He was like, they were like, oh, how does it feel that you get to block for Tom Brady? And he goes, man, Tom Brady's been in the league since I was like 1 year old. This is so crazy that I get to block for him. It's like, you put that into perspective.
I know.
Oh, holy shit.
All right, Brady, hit us with the Brady Bomb. This is our new segment, the Brady Bomb. This is going to be a quick rundown of everything on sports. I know that we're not really watching a lot of sports recently, so we want to give you guys some updates as things go on. So, Brady, hit us with the Brady Bomb.
But we still do have plenty of news around it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of discrepancies right now within the NHL and the NBA between owners saying that they believe the season's not going to happen and players sitting back and also saying those talks are not happening. So there has to be some kind of disconnect. Like there's been a tweet that Woj actually dropped saying the NBA executives are thinking about canceling the season and wanting the season to end. And then LeBron James came out of nowhere and said, none of those conversations are happening. Do we have the proof that LeBron James knows those conversations aren't happening? No, but it's just one of those things to think about that we don't fully understand yet. And we're going to see within the next coming months. And then another big thing that I wanted to drop in about was big NFL free agent names that are still sitting there. You still have Cam Newton. You still have Jadeveon Clowney. Everson Griffin is still sitting there in the edge. I don't understand how nobody's picked him up yet. Logan Ryan hasn't been picked up, but Eric Reed's still not on a team. Like those are just some big names. Jason Peters still out. So there are still plenty of free agents that people have not touched yet. Yep. And that's something that is going to happen within the next coming months. I feel like once all of this pandemic stuff is quote unquote over, that we're going to see more people get picked up.
Yeah.
But until then, we'll never know. And that was the Brady Bomb. Welcome to the
Brady Bomb. All right, Brendan. The next segment here is called Show Me the Goods. Brendan, give us some good news.
Show me the goods. All right, here we go. This is our new segment. It's called Show Me the Goods. It's where basically every week I'm going to actually give some good positive news about things going on in the world because I know everybody is really struggling at home. I know everything that's out right now is very negative, and I know a lot of people are, struggling with mental health issues. My heart goes out to everybody. This is a tough time for everyone in the world, so I just want to shed a little light and a little happiness and maybe a little hope for everybody to kind of look up to. First thing I'm going to get into is that Tom Hanks has fully recovered from COVID-19. So has his wife. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson, his wife, are offering up their antibodies to help research coronavirus treatments.
Nice.
Which is huge.
Hell yeah, brother.
the next thing is that global greenhouse gas emissions are estimated to fall by 8% in 2020, which is the largest recorded drop in human history.
Holy shit. That's dope.
Which is great news. It's great news because that puts us right on track to be able to implement that, that Green New Deal and help save our environment. I think it puts us in a great position to start, which is just amazing. Yeah. And then lastly, there's an Italian student, and she was stuck in Spain during both of those countries' lockdowns. She ended up going to the grocery store to pick up some food and bring back to her hotel. She gets into this cab, and she's talking to the cab driver. The cab driver asks her where she's from. She says she's from Italy. And the cab driver just right from there asked her address and then drove her 900 miles home.
Oh, my God.
Drive her home for free. For free. Drove her 900 miles home from Spain to her family's home in Italy.
That's incredible.
That's wow.
That is some good news.
That's actually wild.
Oh my God. It gives you some hope in some people.
It really does.
It really.
I think the most important thing, and I think that's the most difficult about what's going on right now, is that when something tragic happens in human history, is that people come together, right?
Yep.
And I think the most tragic thing with what's going on right now, obviously, aside from the deaths and everybody afflicted, and the mental health issues that are sure to be coming and propelled by this, is that we can't come together, right? Like we're stuck at home. We can't see each other in real life. We can Zoom and video chat and make podcasts and all these things, but we're lacking that human interaction. So I think it's just it makes it that much more difficult for everybody. And I know it makes it difficult for me. I'm an extrovert myself. I know I've been struggling myself. I know everybody else has too. I know Brady has. I know Cam. I know you have too. So I think I think reading these stories about people actually somewhat being able to come together and do good for each other is what we need.
Yeah, I think it's really good. And I mean, I know like we're all talking about sports and everything and like how things aren't starting and everything, but just to see like the simplicity of like how things can change, like how, for example, like people working, right? To see that like productivity can still happen working at home. A lot of companies are going to start offering people a lot more remote work than they have in the past because they're going to be like, A, it helps with viruses, right? So if this is still going on, people are going to have that. But B, they're going to be like, you're still productive. People are now able to, right? In America, we've been so used to working 40 hours or more, never seeing families, right? Not me. This is just from how it's always been, right?
Yeah.
Not seeing their families, not having that interaction to help kids with school, help people, with the laundry, do people things. And you only have the weekend to do that. And your weekend is your time off from work. It should not be a time to do everything you didn't have time for. It should literally be so that you can kick back, reset, start work the next week. I think a lot of companies are going to be realizing that if you can work from home and still be productive, you can get some of this stuff done during the day. A, it's going to help with not as many people on the road all the time. And gas emissions, people aren't going to be driving around everywhere, and also at the same damn time, productivity and that work-life balance. So I think those are some things that a lot of companies are going to start figuring out, and I think it's crazy that like little things like that we're shown to the world, like, oh wow, we can actually do this. Like, why didn't we do this the whole time?
We can literally fix the world by just not doing anything.
Yeah,
like the largest. Like the largest hole in the ozone right now, like in the ozone layer, is actually closing. How crazy is that? Like the largest hole that they were like,
Wait, but how are the UFOs going to get in now?
They
announced UFOs and nobody noticed.
If this pandemic is going to show us anything, and if we're going to take any light out of this darkness, I think it should be that we really have to understand that our lives are so short and that nothing is guaranteed. And that sounds dark, but it's not, because I want to really just advocate that everybody should be following their passions. Everybody should be doing what they want to do and just follow your, like, I know it's cliche, but legitimately follow your dreams. Because if you're working a shitty job, right, and you're living for the weekends, you're cutting 50 years off your life. And then you throw something in like this that completely shakes things up and takes everything that you have away anyway. It's not worth it. Okay. It's just not worth it. And like, say, like people take shitty jobs because it pays more money. Don't do that. Like, you need the extra $3,000 for what? So you can buy a nicer car? Like, take the job that pays less money that you're going to be happy in, that you're going to be productive in.
And that offers flexibility. So that, like, you work, maybe now you're working, let's say you take the shittier job that you don't like, that's going to ask more hours from you, that for an extra 10 grand a year, instead you can take away that 10 grand, still live comfortably, have a few remote days, maybe have, like all these kinds of benefits that people don't talk about that like should be like, look at these. I get it, right? Our economy is above and beyond anybody, right? And it's the reason because of how often we work. 40 hours a week. But I'm not saying we should be working 30 hours a week and have a nap time like, they have in Spain and Italy. But maybe you could work 40 hours a week and 10 of them are working at home. And that way you can get some things during the day. And, at your lunch break, you can hop in your pool. Or at your lunch break, you can do something creative because you're in your house and you can wear comfortable clothes on those days and get things done, like go grocery shopping, go to the gym, whatever. Do those things that people do not have time to do because they are working maybe an hour and a half away from home. Not only are they working 9 to 5, they have to leave their house at 7 and they don't get home till 7. So it's like not only are you working those 8 hours, you add on those times where you're just in a car and you're not doing things that you want to be doing. So I think that should be a move that we start making in this world.
And
companies start making.
One of our God-given rights, and one of the things that makes this country so great, is the pursuit of happiness. I mean, it's the pursuit of happiness, not the pursuit of cash. Yep. You should be doing in your life what makes you happy and what you want to do and what you want to follow. Follow your passions. That's what I'm trying to say out of all this.
Like John Bellion always says, money's not the key to wealth, right? The key to wealth is your happiness, and everybody, like, this is not his quote, this is my quote now, but everything that makes that like allows you to have that work-life balance, that just doing things that make you happy, right? Like I've always been like, just do something that you enjoy doing. So that's our good news. Brennan, good job with that. Brady, good job with your bombs. What are we kind of looking at now to kind of wrap the topic back up and get back into sports a little bit? Because I know some of our dads sitting on their couch right now with their beer in hand are like, all right, I don't care. I'll get back to the sports.
I'm with them.
Into their head. So my question for both of you is, out of the MLB, NHL, and NBA, which is the first to either open or resume play first, and how are they going to do it?
NHL, they got plexiglass going around the whole rink.
All right.
I figured it out, Bettman. I got it. Commissioner Bettman, we have a fucking genius.
Face shields, plexiglass. It's perfect.
Yeah,
open up the
fine.
NHL. Send it.
Brady, what do you think?
I personally think it's going to be the NHL, but not for those reasons. Not for look, we have circle. Like, no. I personally think it's going to be the NHL because, you're looking at all of the conversations they're having and they're actively searching out places to finish the season. But then I think close behind that would be the NBA. I don't really see the MLB, coming through anytime soon because there have been plenty of players from their player union that has straight up said, like, we're not playing without fans. Like, that's
thank God baseball is literally deciding, hey, a shorter season might be better for us.
For real, yeah.
Like, about time. If I had to put it this way, if nothing's gonna happen this year, I would say, like, if they're all just gonna cancel the rest of the seasons, right, and just start whatever next year, I think the NFL is the easiest. I think the NFL is the easiest to play without fans. Because if you think about it, you take away the tailgates, right? You take away the seats are expensive anyway. Majority of people like to sit at their homes on a Sunday and watch football, right? And a lot of those teams, because think about it this way, a lot of teams have private jets because there are so many people on their team. So this is one of the only sports that has, like, majority of the teams have private jets. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you look at the other sports, some of them have it, but not all of them. Some of them, still fly commercial, or they'll buy out a flight at least. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to get a private jet, but think about it that way. They have a private jet, so it's easy to go from city to city without infecting anybody in airports or anything like that, because they don't have to go through the airport. They can just drive right onto the tarmac and get on the private jet and go. And the same thing when they land there, and they can stay at those bus. You can stay right onto the bus. You could use the same bus company, same exact bus, whatever you have to do. It's a lot easier for the NFL, especially because they only have one game a week. that
they
can start back
the
up.
other ones where it's like, well, now we have to finish the regular season and then do the playoffs, and then
Yeah.
it's like, well, we're done now, so we have more time to plan.
Right.
But one thing that I'm seeing right now is Vegas is opening themselves up to be a sports hub right now.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
I saw somebody. I don't think it was the mayor of Vegas because she sucks. She's an absolute moron of a woman. It definitely wasn't her. But the state of Nevada basically said, like, if you were going to use Vegas as like a sports epicenter for whoever picked it up, the NBA or the NHL, we would house the players in like the hotels,
like the casinos and stuff.
In the casino hotels that are open, and then they'd be able to open up, their books again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'd be able to open them, at least online, be able to open up their books so Vegas can pull their currency back in.
I think sports should have the central locations like you're talking about. I think you should probably have somewhere in California, somewhere in Las Vegas. I think you should have like a middle, like Colorado.
NHL was looking at like Wyoming.
Yeah.
Because Wyoming has like no cases.
Yeah. But even
all
if,
they
if
are
you're throwing
just
cases
gun-toting
aside,
hicks that just don't want that fight the virus with firearms.
Yeah. So
like,
I think if you want to find it, you need to have like those cases aside. I think there should be a couple on the East Coast, right? East Coast, like North and Southeast Coast, middle of the, you should have, I would say, like, the MLB wanted to have like 3 locations. Like, they wanted to have like Texas, Arizona, and Florida. And I'm like, I guess that makes sense because it's nice weather. But like, if you're these other sports, right? We are so hungry for sports to come back. But at the same time, as a competitive advantage, do you really want to open up your sport the same time these other sports open up? Because if you, MLB, NBA, and NHL, right? As much as we love all those sports equally, what is going to get the most attention on it when it comes back? Probably the NBA, right? It's the season Kobe died. It's the season people want to see finish, right? The NBA was the first to go there. A lot of fans from the MLB and NHL might be like, I'm just going to watch NBA. Right, because a lot of people
you're looking at a LeBron Zion possible matchup.
Yeah.
You're looking at Giannis possibly going to his first finals. Like, you're looking
Jason
at
Tatum.
Yeah, you're looking at the Celtics team right now, what they can try to do. Like, there are so many storylines in the NBA right now that it's just like blasphemy if the season doesn't.
So does it? For my question, I guess I should word this a little better. Does it make more sense that if I'm the NHL and MLB, right? I'm the MLB. I'm saying we're just gonna delay our season. Right, and we're just gonna have a shortened season, delayed season, whatever, right? And the NHL looks and says, "We're just gonna start the playoffs as is, right? With the teams we have here. I know it might suck for those other teams, or they might, instead of doing that, they might just do like a 30-team like bracket and be like everybody's in the playoffs."
Said that they're in no rush, but they want to aim for a regular season to finish in June. If it can. They want to get the regular season to finish in June for the playoffs to start in July. And I would love life.
Yeah.
If that was real.
July is my favorite. July is my favorite time of the year for sports because of think of it, like 4th of July, just like I always have like flashbacks to like Lake Winnipesaukee, and the summer is always my favorite time because you have NBA.
Winnipesaukee, I'll never forget those days.
I know, dude. You got NBA, right? You have the NBA like off season. You have the NFL training camps are starting up. You have baseball in prime form. You have the NHL playoffs either just start like wrapping up or like very, very close to like. Or not very, very close, like very soon after the Stanley Cup. Like, it's just a good time. It's a really good time, and I think it will be even better 4th of July time to have baseball starting back up, basketball going through its, like, core end of the season, NHL going through its core end of the season. Like, it's pretty fun. I'm excited for it.
I am, too. I just miss sports, dude.
I
what are we doing?
Guys.
We're a sports podcast. So we can't even talk about like the things that I miss you.
I miss you too, man.
Bro, fuck the sports. I miss you guys. I haven't seen you guys in
God damn. Like
5 months.
Honestly, like not seeing my friends is like the worst thing in the world. Like I'm gonna give like a nice little shout out to my homie Will because he's the man.
I love Will so much.
He's probably,
I love
I'm
Will so much.
not sure if he's going to be watching this, but if you do, Will, just know that I gave you all this love.
Yeah.
He was like, when this is all over, I'm throwing like a massive barbecue and it's going to be amazing. Like, it's like that's like one of the things, like everybody, like, that's the thing, like with all of this going on right now, there's so many things like to look forward to. And there's so many things that people are already in the works of doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like you look at it and it's like, oh my God. Like, you guys know what a power hour is, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like you take a shot of beer for every song change, blah, blah. It's like one of my friend Cody was like, when this is all done, like me and you are doing, whoever wants to join, they're good, but we're doing this. Like, this is something that would it's like, this is like a right, like, we has to come back.
And
like,
the same thing with sports, Brady, too. Like that, like planning things with your friends. But the fact is, like, there's been times where I've done it, right, with sports and just things in general, where like we're so like spoiled with everything that goes on, like all the content that we have, that like it's very easy to be like, I'm not going to watch the NBA for a couple weeks. I'm kind of bored right now. I'm going to find something else. And now it's like all these things are starting up and we're just like, holy crap, like I took it for granted, like not being able to watch.
Shit, I don't want to think about it like that.
No, but
we took everything for granted. Not just sports. We took everything for granted.
But now that things are starting to open back up again, it's like you're going to see people appreciating those things like restaurants and bars and it's sports a lot more. You're going to see people appreciating each other a lot more. I feel like you're going to see more and more people like holding the door for each other, like saying hi, because they're finally able to see people again and like not have to wear a mask and not have to clean the door handles. I mean, like you should still wash your hands after coming home from the day. I think like stuff like that's going to change. Like you're going to be washing your hands a lot more than we did. But like now you're going to be like not freaking going in with a hazmat suit somewhere to like go pick up like fucking food somewhere, and now you're just gonna be able to be like, hey, how's it going, like how was your day, how was that, like whatever, like, you know, and people are gonna be more excited to do that. I think that's what's gonna happen. So today has been a super good episode. Before we get to our dad advice and dad joke of the day, I just wanted to remind everybody again on social media to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 40 Dads Podcast. And then follow us anywhere you're listening to this podcast too. It really helps out. Also, follow on Anchor because you're actually able to send in those messages like Bob sent in earlier. Helps us really kind of give us some talking points throughout the show. Honestly,
or if you have a question, email us at 40yarddads@gmail.com.
Yep.
Or find our personal socials.
Twitter,
through,
Instagram, Facebook,
through Twitter,
anything.
Yep. On any of our pages, our personal socials are on there too. Send us messages, send us questions.
100%, yeah. Because I think I could speak for all of us when I say this. I think we would rather answer your questions and make it more interactive than just talk about what we want to talk about. Like if you guys want to talk about a certain thing, like the whole point is like we want to make this interesting and entertaining for you. So if you want to talk about, you know, whatever, Jason Tatum and something like that, we're going to talk about it. So send those questions in, whatever it is. This channel, these topics are basically yours for the taking if you go ask those questions. Bob asked us a question and we talked about it for 10 minutes. So the more question we get, the more this is for you guys. But yeah, does anybody have any final words before we get to our advice and dad joke of the day?
I just love you guys so much.
Yeah, I'll just say, you know, everybody just, you know, hang on, keep hanging on. Eventually, this is going to end.
Poster.
You know, the kid.
Hang in there, buddy.
Eventually it'll end, and eventually we'll get some sense of normalcy. So just hold on.
Awesome. All right, so we're gonna hit up with the dad advice of the day or the week. I don't know why we say of the day because we only do this once a week.
Once a week.
So the dad advice of the week is from Cam. This one is: please, if you are thinking of investing right now, please invest in oil, because I am telling you right now, you are going to make a crap ton of money when everything comes back and planes start taking off and people start driving. If you are thinking of some oil to invest in, MRO, Marathon Oil, American Oil, I would invest in that. I've invested some money into that, so that's my advice. Invest in oil.
Also start investing in solar panels and renewable energy, because that is going to be coming hot and heavy too.
Renewable energy doesn't exist.
All right, Brady. Hit us with the dad joke of the day, and we're signing off.
Okay. Where do you take someone who's been injured in a peekaboo accident?
I don't know.
the ICU.